Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SUKI Podcast. I'm your host, Iddi Mtumweni. A SUKI Podcast is a platform where we invite people from around the world to share their story of challenge, triumph, transformation, and we believe everyone's journey has the power to inspire and connect us. And today, we are honored to have Anatolii Zasoba with us. Anatoli is distinguished leader, coach, entrepreneur, whose journey from Crimea to New York has been nothing but short of remarkable. Let's dive into his story and learn from his wealth of experience. Welcome to the program, Anatoli. Um, can you share your journey from Crimea to New York and how the war in Ukraine shaped your professional and personal life?
Oh, thank you for asking that. And first of all, Edie, I'm so grateful that I'm here today. Thank you for hosting me. And it's a big pleasure for me to see you and talk with you anytime. Yeah. And I'm Ukrainian. Originally, I was born and raised in Crimea, like you said. Maybe you people heard about this crazy peninsula, right? And I was pretty successful in business in my country. And unfortunately, in 2014, because of Russia occupation, me and my family we had to move from Crimea to Kiev, to the capital of Ukraine. And it was my first time when I had to start from scratch, from zero. I left everything, all my businesses, all my properties in 2014 in Sevastopol in Crimea. And after 8 years building new life and new businesses in Kiev, because of big invasion, as you know, Edie, in 2022, me and my family, we had to move from Ukraine to Europe first. And it was difficult, it was tough. Of course, unfortunately, we've been experiencing with bombing, with evacuation process in my country in February, March 2022. But we've been lucky to cross the border and spend a few months in Germany, in Munich, actually. And then we realized it's going to be longer than we expected. I mean, war in my country. And it wasn't first time, right? Because in 2014, I had already experienced start my life from scratch. And we had only 2 hours to pack all bags and move from Crimea to Kiev. And when at 5 a.m. war started in Kiev, we had only a couple hours, we spent a few hours in basement, and then we realized, okay, we will pack everything and drive our car, you know, to cross the border. And again, it was like, no opportunity, no chance to be ready for that transition and move in my life. But after spending a few months in Germany, we decided to move forward. And because I was a participant of different exchange internship programs before here in the United States, U.S. government invited me and my family, invited me to share my experience, my expertise. And this is the reason why I had some friends here in New York State. And I really appreciate that they invited me and my family stay safe and move here. And now we're here. Me and my wife, we decided to stay focused on our children's education because this is very important for us because we're both from education field. But I'm so blessed to have wonderful clients all over the world, not just here in the United States, but also from Europe, Australia, India, beautiful people, amazing leaders, business leaders, executives, C-suites, founders, and I work with Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Warner Bros. Had an opportunity to coach the Barbie movie team, for example. I think many people watch that movie. Yeah, and I'm blessed to support these wonderful people in their journey as a professional certified coach with thousands of hours of experience.
Yeah, that's very amazing and inspiring story that you share there. You had to start from scratch twice because of what happening at war in Ukraine. But I'm curious, with 20 years of leadership, business, and educational experience, what is inspire you to pursue this field?
You know, I call this sometimes like it's my retirement, right? Because I spent, like you said, 20 years in business. And every time starting from scratch, I realize that, uh, I want to do something by myself, by my own, be responsible for my clients, for their lives, for their growth, right? And I decided that, okay, 20 years in leadership, business, and education, they taught me that, I can support my clients as a coach, as certified coach. And yeah, this is the reason why I decided to focus on that for the last few years. Right. And I'm a big believer I'm a firm believer in coaching because honestly, coaching saved my life when war started, right? It was very helpful for me to ask myself right questions, what usually we do as coaches, right? We ask people questions. And I was able to ask myself kind of right questions in that moment, even if it was, so extreme situation. But it was so helpful, and I believe in power of questions. And even if I'm not a consultant or mentor, and I'm not provide any advices to my clients how to deal with business challenges or whatever, right? But all this experience from my past help me to uh, support my clients and kind of feel what question will be more powerful to ask right now in that moment, if it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Indeed, it does. And you have been doing amazing job. The company that you mentioned you have been working with is one of the biggest company in the world, man. You are global. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure we're gonna have leaders around the world with many other company who's gonna follow this episode and learn something from you. I know this is not like official station because I'm not a business leader, at least not yet. But what do you believe set a great leader apart from the rest, based on your coaching experience with executive globally? Somebody need to know if they can assess themselves if they are a good leader or not.
hmm Oh, such a wonderful question, Edie, and thank you for asking that. Believe it or not, but I recently posted my opinion about that question on my LinkedIn, and it's interesting that you ask me kind of the same question about what is the real difference between good leader and great leader, right? And of course, you can read a lot of books about that, about leadership from guru and etc. But I think what I shared in that post, that the main distinction, it's all about clarity. Clarity. How much clarity do I have as a leader? How clear is my vision, my future, my desirable future? How clear my goals, right? Because if it's not clear to me, how can I make it clear for other people who wants me to lead them? And
That's
if I have 100% clarity and I articulate, communicate this vision with other people, maybe they will have 80% of clarity, right? Or 60% of clarity. But if I have only 20% of clarity, whenever I share my vision, people will understand maybe 5%, just a little bit. And it's less chance to achieve the desirable future. This is the reason why, again, if we come back to coaching so
mhm.
helpful as a technique, as an approach, as a methodology to support great leaders, good leaders to become great leaders because they will have more clarity in terms of their desirable future. And
That's right.
when it's clear for them in their mind and in their heart, it's easy for them to deliver this vision and share this vision with their audience, direct reports, their teams, their clients, customers, whatever.
That's right, and I'm sure whoever is interested in coaching that need to share some experience with you. Well, we will leave the link on the description of this session so they can follow you and make an appointment for the session for coaching. Thank you so much for staying with us on SUKI podcast. Well, up next, we're going to explore Anatolii innovative program and how he overcome challenge in his inspiring journey. Please don't forget to share this episode and leave your comment below and send the link to a friend who could benefit from this conversation. You have created the My Life Design program and My Identiverse method. Could you explain how this program help transform life?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would love to share with you and people who listen to and watch to our podcast today. And Edie, if we talk about audience, right? What are my clients or my colleagues' clients, right? I mean, every
Mhm.
time our best clients, they are myself. They're like me from my past, right? They're me from my past. And what I realized that, you know, the best results and the biggest progress I support people to make in their life, every time it's for people from 35 to 50 years old, because we have a lot of common, right? And 70% of my clients, they're men, right? We have even more in common. And I realized it's not just about midlife crisis. I don't like this word, right? Kind of negative vibes from this crisis, right? But maybe something about midlife stagnation or midlife challenges or changes in people's life, right? Because usually closer to 40s, we know a lot about ourselves. And closer to 40s, we already accomplished and achieved so many beautiful things in our life. And maybe in that moment, we kind of stuck. We facing maybe death in some ways, unfortunately, and we think about, okay, how I would like to live the second half of my life, be more intentional about that, be more conscious, aware about this idea. And this is the reason why I created this coaching program, Midlife Design. I call this Midlife Design because it's all about design second half of my life, not just about reflecting where I am right now and what was this journey in my life for the first half of my life, but mostly because coaching, it's all about future, right? We're not talking about this midlife crisis reasons and etc. We're talking about future. We talk about, okay, tell me, how does second ideal half of your life look like? And it's so cool to support my clients within next 3 months to design their second half of their life. And again, like we talked about great leaders, to gain clarity, it's all about clarity. I'm designing my second half and I have more clear. It's clear for me how I would like to live next 30, 40, 50 years.
And like I say, my dear listener and viewers, please make sure to follow him in his platform and his social media and make appointment to get more insightful about this design and how you can integrate in your daily to daily leadership. Let's go a little bit about moving to a new country. It's a little bit challenge for everyone in around the world, not just moving from like Africa or Europe to US. And I'm sure my dear listener and viewer will agree to this on this way with me. But specifically for you, what were the biggest challenge that come up when you start your career here in US, and how did you overcome them? Maybe somebody is having now the challenge that you had before, and they might be able to apply the technique that you use to overcome those
Mhm.
challenge.
Oh, thank you. I think I reflect a lot about migration and having this migrant experience in my life and even migrant identity. It's kind of tied with My Identiverse method, which is a part of this midlife design program. But when I think about my inner migrant and my experience, I think in many ways I've been lucky, even if it sounds weird right now, but because I didn't have a chance to plan my move. I moved twice from Crimea to Kiev, from Kiev to Germany, and from Germany to United States, actually three times, right? But I've been in Germany just 4 months and wasn't able to build, whole new life, right? It was like really temporary. But I was forced to move every time, right? And I had only 2 or 3 hours to make a decision. And I think the reason why I'm talking, I was lucky because so many people have an idea and try to plan and be prepared for this transition, for this move, but they stuck with those preparations for years. Does it make sense? I think you know it is that based on your great experience working with so many migrants, that people can stuck in their mind because they don't know exactly, okay, what does it mean to be prepared for migration? How will I understand that I'm ready, right? I have enough money. I well prepared. I have all my documents and etc. Right? In my case, I didn't think even about that. It was like life or death question, right? And it was a quick, fast decision for me. And I never kind of have this idea to suffer about what I left and what I lost because I lost so much rent, so much money, so much properties every time. And I do not want to spend even 1 minute to cry and stay sad about that, right? I just move forward. That's it. And I think it's important, even if those challenges, like in my case, war, can happen in your life, and this is the real reason why you need to move, stay focused on my bigger goal, bigger vision. It is so crucial and helpful. And people ask me sometimes, how I was able to, build successful life just for first 2 years in United States, right? For example, I tripled my income this year, right? And I have so many clients right now, and really proud of myself and what I was able to achieve just because I had clarity about my bigger vision, my big goals, and what are my values, what I would like to stay focused on. And don't forget, please, about this mental state. I call this teenager mindset. When I move to another country, I am like a teenager. Do you remember when you were a teenager in your past, in this 12, 13, 15, 17 years old, right?
Mhm.
Everything's so, everything's new for me, right? I have so many changes around me, social changes, body changes, financial, so many new experiences, right? It's so fast. And I think it happens with people who are the migrant, right? Who are migrants, and when they move to another country, I find myself, I'm like a teenager, right? It's so many transformations in my life in the same time from different parts of my life, like professional, personal, health, environment, language. Even I need to try to find a new dentist, right, and understand how does it work, this healthcare system, for example,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I need to learn so many things. it's so transformational, and so many things are changing in the same time. This is the reason why I call myself I'm a teenager, and I need to treat myself as a teenager, be self-compassion first of all, and accept that, okay, I'm going through this experience, but I've been there before. I was a teenager, and I understand that I can deal with that and become more mature as a migrant in new country.
You have been accomplished a lot. And like you say, it's all about flexibility. Sometimes things happen like in a blink of eye. You haven't prepared anything. You just have to move. You just have to go. You just have to be able to face this challenge and build flexibility and move forward. And you did that. And I'm sure our dear viewers and listener will be able to compare themselves from the situation that they are right now to be able to move forward with all of this experience that you're sharing right now. Thank you for being part of this journey on SUKI podcast. Next, we will dive into Anatoli wisdom and leadership, family balance, and his achieve of midlife transformative transformation. Remember to share this episode. What have you learned about connecting with diverse audience after organizing 20,000 even over half of a million participants?
Oh my goodness. Yes, it was so many different experiences in my life. Thank you for reminding that. Yeah, organizing so many, forums, conferences, educational events, and yeah, entertainment events as well. If we, you know, starting from my young age and first business experiences, right? Uh, I think right now when I deal with one-on-one coaching sessions, I mean, I work in one-on-one most of the time, right, with my clients. It helps me so much, right? I mean, during COVID, for example, right, when COVID hit, right, we went online, right, and I was able to start a new project, and it was so cool to teach teachers all over the world. I had 11,000 students from 40 different countries during COVID, right? Before big war started in my country. Um, and it's interesting, like we have right now call. I had an opportunity to coach 1,000 people at the same time online. This is my personal record. And the reason why I'm talking about that, because you asked me what did I learn. I mean, having these offline experiences, organize big events with hundreds and thousands participants, they taught me how to deal with big audience when I had this experience, for example, coach 1,000 people online. Only me and 1,000 online on Zoom, right? And right now, when I deal with one-on-one sessions with one client in front of me, it's way, way easier for me to manage this dynamic and deal with this um, conversation and coaching process and hold this space, safe space for my client, first of all, in order to create this space for client to feel safe and in the same time to grow and develop themselves.
Yeah,
I think I mean, people taught me a lot, trust me, in a different ways. And I have no expectations as well. This is another maybe insight for me. I don't have any expectations. And I trust my client. This is actually the only one mantra which I continue to remind myself every time when I start conversation with somebody, most of the time with clients, because for example, I work right now with 80 plus people and lead them right now completely booked. Today I have 26 sessions, Iddi, and this podcast between in between. Yeah.
thank you for spare a little time to talk with us, even though you have this, you have full booked. I'm glad you spare a little time to talk with us. Let's go a little bit about family. As husband and father of three, like your bio say, how do you balance your professional success with personal and family life? Many people struggle to manage this. Many people struggle to do this. It's like they're going crazy with all this family issue going on and business challenging. How do you manage to balance these two?
Yeah, oh, I would love to share with you, especially based on that idea that I think I have kind of pretty unique and maybe sometimes crazy approach how to deal with work-life balance. But I'm okay with
Okay.
that. Based on my experience, I decided that it works for me and it works for my clients. I would love to share with your audience as well today, and maybe people will find
Mm-hmm.
that interesting for them
Mm-hmm.
in their lives. First of all, I would like to say that I hate that person somewhere who decided to propose to corporate America, first of all, this idea work-life balance. What does it mean? Work is not a part of my life? It even sounds weird, right? What does it mean?
Okay.
And what does it mean life? Most of the time, life means my family, my home, right? Which is which is good, kind of nothing wrong with that, right? But
Mm-hmm.
work-life balance, people try to balance these two things, but if I go at work and what am I doing there? I try to please other people. I try to satisfy their needs. I mean, my boss, my colleagues, my peers, my direct reports, maybe my clients. I try to satisfy their needs. And then I come back home. And when I back home, I do the same. I try to satisfy other people's needs, even if I love them, but I try to satisfy my wife's needs, my children's needs, my parents, my friends' needs. I try to satisfy other people's needs. And this can be overwhelming. And this is my question. Where is room for myself? Where is time for myself? And this is the reason why I'm a big believer in this idea work, life, myself balance. Not just balance between work and life, but work, life, myself balance. Because work is something important for my professional growth, life for family and home, but it should be a time for myself. And ask yourself, how does this look right now? Is this 60% work, 55, 35% of for myself, or sorry, for family, and 5% for myself? Do you really have time for yourself? And how does your ideal work life myself balance look like? Right? Write it down and stay focused on that. I prefer to spend 40% at work, right? 40% for my family and 20% for myself. But this is my work life myself balance, right? Um, Different people can have different approaches and different balance, different numbers, but I think it's important to have clarity again for yourself and ask yourself, how does this work life myself balance look like? And maybe my final idea here, of course, I can spend hours to talk about work-life balance, but think about work, myself, life balance. The reason why I change the order, because I do the same between work and life, between work and family. I find the time for myself every time when I transition from work environment to family home, I dedicate time for myself. And vice versa, right? If before jump from family to work, I dedicate 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes for myself. Does make sense?
Oh
Because this
yeah.
is the
Yeah.
tricky part, and this is it works in my case. Just
Mm-hmm.
small break for myself, because whenever I serve other people at work or at home, I need to spend energy. But whenever I find the time for myself, I gain energy. This is
Yes.
crucial to
Hmm.
increase my level of energy every time when I focus in on myself. I maybe I
Wow.
can pause here.
Yeah, that's the. I think we need like the whole new session for this work-life balance and professional success. Thank you so much. And personally, I really need to cop to this method of yours and to try to apply it in my life, because sometimes you get overwhelmed, you get distress yourself, that lead to depression. This life is everything happening at once. It's crazy. Well, thank you so much, Anatoli, for sharing your incredible insight with us today on Suki Podcast. And before we close, I wanna show something to our listener and tell listener to viewer. So the reason we invite him in our podcast today, because I met this guy during my business trip at San Diego, California, and there is amazing book that he co-authored with Brian Trace, and there is a whole chapter. So you really need to get your copy, because it's all about energy mastery, holistic balance, and and strategy is right here. So we will leave the link below in the description so you can get your own copy. And maybe you will tell us a little bit about, like, few minutes about this book, your experience with Brian Trace, and how why you decide to co-author with him.
Yeah, I would love to share because it's a big event reflecting about 2024. And usually I'm asking my clients, what are those top 10 things, what happened with you this year? What makes
Mhm.
this year special and unique? And no doubt, meeting Brian Tracy and be able to write a book as a co-author with Brian, it was amazing and, very important event when I reflect about 2024. Because when I was 15 years old, can you imagine that, Iddi? And growing up in post-Soviet Union country, it wasn't so easy to find good business books, but I read some of his books in that age. And I started my first business because of his insights and his ideas. And be able after 20 plus years meet him in person in San Diego and write a book with him and doing all this stuff together. This is amazing. And I mean, it's about, again, about big dream and stay focused on my priorities, right? And I'm really proud that with him we decided that I will write down my reflections about energy mastery, because based on his experience as well, he's 80 plus years old right now, right? And he keeps going to serve other people. And we talk about, C-suites, executives, and leaders, and we agreed that energy management, this is a crucial for leaders. And it's important to keep myself with high level of energy on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And this is the reason why I'm talking about all these tips and tricks in my chapter and propose readers to know more about how to manage their energy on a daily basis in a better way.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And it was an honor meeting you back then, and it's an honor meeting you here in the on Suki podcast. And hopeful when I come to New York, we will meet, my friend. Or when you come to Seattle, please give me a call and we will meet and hang out.
Yeah,
Yeah, we gotta
yes.
dance. Remember?
And make more videos, fun
Oh yeah,
videos.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And to our viewers and listener, we want to take a moment to thank you for your incredible support during our 2024 season. This is going to be our first episode of 2025. We're excited to embark on this journey with you in the new season. And our friend Anatoli here is going to be the first one to open this season for us. Woo!
Whoa, such an amazing opportunity. Thank you for
Yes,
that, Eddie.
yeah.
Yeah, and I really appreciate for your services, for everything what you are doing.
Hmm.
And you are so kind and you're so passionate and your vibes and your energy every time, so remarkable and so inspiring. Thank you for that, Eddie.
Thank you so much. Let's continue to explore and inspire and learning together. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with more inspiring story. Uh, until next time, this is Suki Podcast, and I am Iddi Mtumweni.